Good afternoon. I'm Spot On Weather meteorologist Matthew Euler, and we're going to take a look at the long range outlook, which looks rather interesting today. And we're going to go ahead and start it off and discuss Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. A lot of folks have holiday time off for this day. What we're looking for Southeast Virginia is we're going to have a 1034 millibar high, which is situated over Long Island. We still have some cold air wedging or cold air damming that's still coming down, circulation around this high with northeasterly winds. It's going to extend all the way down into northeast Georgia. So we don't expect a warm up, a really mild period to start until we get towards Tuesday. So out to the west, now this is going to be real interesting, especially over the weekend. There's going to be a lot of ice across the Midwest. In fact, if you're a football fan, they actually are thinking of delaying the game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers because on the weekend it's going to still be cold enough to be ice, a lot of ice in the Kansas City area. But there is a major 1,006 millibar low developing over Oklahoma on Monday. Thankfully, the southerly winds, the counterclockwise flow around the low bring a changeover from ice to liquid for areas that may be harder hit this weekend, such as Kansas City. But for the Southeast Virginia area, we're looking at fairly cool temperatures still. Looking at the jet stream, we have a trough of low pressure, a long wave trough, cooler conditions, more unsettled conditions out in the western United States, especially out towards Denver and the front range of the Rockies. Over the eastern United States, more of a zonal flow, more of a west-to-east flow. So we have a cold air wedge with cold air still in place on Monday for us, and we expect temperatures to rise into the middle to upper 40s. Right now it's looking more like upper 40s for a high on Martin Luther King Day. But we should definitely be dry if you have any plans for your holiday off on Martin Luther King Day. All right, moving on to Tuesday, we have that high pressure that was up here to the northeast. It slides a little bit further offshore. There's another weak area of higher pressure over New Hampshire area in eastern Canada. But as far as southeast Virginia, we're still looking dry on Tuesday the 17th. That storm system that developed over Oklahoma area is now moved off to the northeast, and it's filling slowly or weakening. 1,009 millibar low over Iowa. A lot of warm air in place, and this is going to be the theme of next week. Once this cooler conditions of this weekend go through, once they're done, we're going to really warm up the period of the 17th of January through about the 24th of January. It's going to be a very mild week. There's going to be an absence of any kind of Arctic air across the United States, pretty much the whole United States. As far as the long wave pattern, we have some more jet maximum or jet streaks. Greater jet speeds within the main jet core starting to move towards the Pacific Northwest. We have a long wave trough that's remaining in place over the desert Southwest, shifting slightly east into New Mexico. And again, we have mainly a west-southwest flow at 30,000 feet over Southeast Virginia at this time. So mild conditions will be the theme. There you can see my text down here at the bottom, troughing over the southwestern U.S. That's going to remain a theme this upcoming next week with ridging over the eastern United States. There's going to be a bump up in heights here in a minute that you'll see on the charts. Just the general philosophy with nature is what goes down must come up. And that's why I put that there. So whenever you have a deeper long wave trough in the west, you usually get a ridge or higher heights in the east. So you have flip-flop as far as cooler in the west and warmer in the east. So we'll just keep an eye on things there. Wednesday, the 18th of January, what do we expect on this day? Well, we do expect a weaker cold front to start approaching our area from the west. And the latest model data actually has this rain a little bit further east, starting to push into southeast Virginia by Wednesday. So this is going to change a little bit, and I will summarize that in the final thoughts. But this frontal system with the rain, it's a very weak front. There's really no major cold air sitting behind it back over the Midwest. So again, temperatures will remain mild, and look at your jet stream configuration from southwest, basically coming from southeastern portion of Texas all the way up into New England states on Wednesday. This ridge is getting more and more amplified. If we go back one frame again to Tuesday, you'll see it's more flat here over the eastern seaboard, but by Wednesday it's starting to get higher and higher and amplify. The heights are rising, which means the warmer air is coming in more readily to southeast Virginia next Wednesday. Okay, so we expect highs next Wednesday actually to get into the 60s. Thursday, the 19th of January, again very mild. We will have The rain will be pushing offshore by this point, so things have changed a little bit as far as timing. This rain area is now going to be pushed offshore, so it should start drying out by next Thursday, the 19th. We have a lot of jet stream energy again that's pouring into the long wave trough along the U.S. West Coast, which has been quite a theme this winter. Tons of rain and mountain snows out in California, which is good for them to end their drought, so that's good news. We do have another little long wave trough, the trough that was over the desert southwest. That starts pivoting towards the east over the midwestern United States, and you still have this ridge, higher heights over the eastern United States. So temperatures will continue to remain mild. In association with this long wave trough, there is going to be upper level support to kick off some rain and an area of low pressure in the vicinity of Memphis, Tennessee next Thursday. Again, Pacific air behind this front, behind this next storm system and the frontal system associated with it, it's going to be, again, very mild. There's an absence of Arctic air. All right, and then Friday, the 20th of January, we have this area of low pressure that has developed from Memphis. It now moves all the way up, deepens to a 996 millibar low just south of Long Island. And we have some rain shower activity extending along this weak front as it moves through. We do expect conditions to cool down as the winds temporarily turn more northwesterly on the backside of this long wave trough. Still troughing in the western United States, so there's not much of a break out west as far as the rain goes. And you can see another storm system off the map here heading into northern California, where they're measuring, the Sierra Nevada is measuring the snow in feet, not even inches. Temps are still going to remain very mild. And then moving ahead, all through next weekend, so Saturday the 21st and Sunday the 22nd look very mild again. Actually mild all the way through the 24th. After the 25th, things start getting a little more interesting as far as getting back to a much colder weather pattern. We will have jet stream that'll be pointed more amplification to it with a flow more from the northwest towards the southeast, and that's going to start dragging down some much colder air from Canada. So we are looking at colder conditions by Friday, the 27th of January for sure. But right now we're targeting any time after the 25th. We see a lot more colder air starting to come back in, a winter pattern. We could have some southern low pressure systems that are going to skirt along the edge of that coldest air, and that could fire off some wintry precipitation and possible East Coast storm of some sort as the pattern becomes much colder again across the United States as a whole. And then here's Saturday the 28th. We're starting to get these low pressure systems that may start forming in the Gulf of Mexico and riding up along the East Coast. So we're going to have to keep a really close eye. The 28th on, and I'll summarize that in my final thoughts, we really believe that there's going to be a winter storm of some sort with this type of colder pattern somewhere between 27 January and the 30th of January. So something to keep an eye on. Colder air in place now again, and then low pressure development, more of a southern route with the low pressure systems, the storm systems, that usually leads to much more of wintry weather along the eastern United States. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. We need to be watching that. So long range final thoughts. We're going to have a very mild week from the 17th to the 24th of January. So tomorrow, the 14th of January, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, the 14th and 15th, we're looking at much cooler conditions than what we're used to, the way we've had the last couple days. Highs only in the 40s and lows in the 30s. And then Monday we start getting warmer a little bit, 48 to 49, almost 50 degrees Monday for a high. And then once that colder air damming and the wedge moves off to the east and offshore, we start getting more of a southerly wind flow again in here, and our temperatures are really going to move up next week, starting the 17th. Lasting all the way to the 24th, above normal temperatures are expected for southeast Virginia. Again, highs will be mainly in the 50s and 60s, but I would not be shocked if we have highs as warm as 70 degrees. If we get a strong enough southwesterly wind, that's very possible. We do have some rainy periods over this mild stretch. The 18th, 20th, and 21st of January look to be rainier, and then drier periods outside of those 3 dates. A mild Pacific air is moving from west to east across the United States, so that's why we're going to have such mild conditions. There's not much airflow from Canada to the United States. And then again, I'm very interested in seeing what unfolds because we're looking at a much colder pattern now returning with wintry precipitation possibilities after 25 January as the polar front jet stream again amplifies from Canada. wintry weather pattern along with very cold temperatures the first 2 weeks of February as well. February right now is looking very cold, believe it or not. Looks like a mean trough or a colder temperature spilling into the eastern United States and a warming and drying out in the west. Of course, these things are subject to change as far out, but that's what we are looking at right now as far as the patterns. And we definitely want to look out for a potential winter storm for Southeast Virginia. The next one we're looking at somewhere between 27 and 30 January. We're going to have a trough, upper level trough in the eastern United States, similar to what we had last week with the major winter storm we had. Plus, I'm going to do another video on southern type lows, what we look for, what type of systems usually give us the snow the most in February. I'm going to do a separate video on that as well. So that's all I've got for now here. It's from Spot On Weather. Remember, follow us on Facebook, Twitter. You can also subscribe here to the YouTube channel. I just want to tell everybody how very thankful I am and appreciative I am that we have the subscribers that we do on this channel. Thank you for spreading the word. I really have a passion for weather, and I really enjoy sharing it with everyone out there. I just enjoy how I can share this love for weather with all of you out there viewing the video. So again, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel here on YouTube, and we'll keep you updated of all the different changes. But again, very mild upcoming next week, and then the following week after that, after the 25th, look out. It's going to get a lot colder again into February. All right, that's all I've got for now for Spot On Weather. Remember, if we're not doing it right, we're spot on weather. Just remember that. If we're not doing it right, we're not spot on, we're not doing it right. Have a great evening, everybody. Take care and have a great weekend.